Boom. We are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the Nolan Hawkeye Anthony YouTube channel. Oh my gosh. Let me gather my thoughts here, guys. Let me gather my thoughts here. And let me share this out. Wow. I knew he was going to miss that. Wow. Let me share this out, guys. Let me share this out. Wow. I got to gather my thoughts, guys, because my emotions have been here all the way down to thinking it's going to overtime. Guys, I almost started the broadcast with 3 minutes to go. I wish I had. Let me share this out. You guys share it out too. If you guys want to send in a comment, you guys can send in a super chat. Wow. What a terrible game. Oh my goodness. Where do I begin, guys? Where do I begin? Where do I begin? Just bear with me while I share this out. When he missed the field goal, you guys got to understand, I don't like that I love the Iowa Hawkeyes so much. You know, I'm a Christian, and I believe that it is almost unhealthy how much I love the Iowa Hawkeyes. And I think on a certain level, it's actually wrong how much I pay attention to the Iowa Hawkeyes and not worship them, but how much of my time is devoted to them. Wow. And after the kick happened, which I knew he was going to miss, he was not ready to go. This is not Caleb Shudak. This is not, Keith Duncan, a seasoned veteran. This is Aaron Blom we're talking about. Aaron Blom. Brutal, guys. And when he missed it, I immediately just yelled out the loudest F word. I did it twice. Being a sports fan is unhealthy. It is unhealthy. All right, let me share my screen here. That was brutal. Okay, I got everything shared out for the most part. You guys can go in there and share it to groups. You guys can do super chats. Much appreciated. Let me go to this. Final. Iowa State snaps their 6-game losing streak to the Iowa Hawkeyes as Iowa drops the game to the Cyclones, obviously. The defense, as I told you guys and have been telling you guys, and it doesn't take a rocket science to know this, is elite and kept Iowa in the game for longer than they probably should have been kept in the game. And it's, by the way, when I say that, I'm not saying that Iowa State are world beaters. They're not. I mean, do you honestly believe after watching that game that unequivocally Iowa State is better than Iowa? No. But credit where credit's due. They came in on the road and beat the Hawks. So I don't want to beat that horse way too much, because at the end of the day, they came into Kinnick Stadium and they beat the Iowa Hawkeyes after losing to them 6 straight times. Okay. So the Iowa defense, phenomenal, which they always are. phenomenal, phenomenal. And both offenses suck throughout most of the game, but I would say Iowa State's struggles were more due to Iowa's amazing defense versus vice versa, where Iowa struggles was due to just how terrible they are on offense. And if you look at this game, this was basically the same game as Iowa versus South Dakota State. But the difference is in this game that Iowa just didn't, the defense just didn't have enough. And, you know, they didn't get the safeties that they got against San Diego State. But this was the exact same game. This was the exact same game. In the second drive before the final drive where Iowa missed the field goal, Spencer Petras went to Sam Laporta three straight times. Iowa, the offense has there's no cuteness there. There's nothing to it. It is the most plain Jane vanilla offense. There is no run game. There is no pass game. The only bright spot that Iowa has on the offense is Sam Laporta. And he damn near stole this game at the end and did everything he could by catching that first pass. Now, the second to last drive, in fairness, Spencer Petras put a dime on Arland Bruce that he dropped. Okay. And I want to go back even further. The touchdown drive, because I want to hit everything here, all the big points. And then I'm going to tell you guys what I think about what this means moving forward and just how brutal this is, quite frankly. The touchdown drive for Iowa State, was it a roughing, unnecessary roughness? Was it an actual unnecessary roughness? Of course not. Of course not. Not even close. He was still in bounds. The ref called a play based off of emotion. He made the call based off of emotion, which if you've ever reffed a game before, you know you cannot do. I have reffed many games. I think most young men should ref games. It teaches you how to be confident in yourself and confidently make calls. But he made that call based entirely off of emotion, and it was the wrong call. But nonetheless, and Riley Moss, it was not an offensive pass interference. Riley Moss basically tripped. Okay. The bottom line is Iowa State deserved to score on that touchdown. Now, does it come down to deserved or not deserved? Of course not. But that was a damn good drive, and they got the tub, which ultimately was the difference. Now we get down to the final play. As I told you guys, I almost started this with 3 minutes left to go. After Iowa went 4 and out, I basically almost started this broadcast. But then I check back in and I'm like, hold on a second. Iowa still has the ball. And, they get a makeup call for the bad call earlier. And it's a 49-yard field goal. Sam Laporta makes a nice catch. Alex Witt makes a nice catch. The refs are absolutely terrible. They have no idea what's going on. They have no idea about the timer. They have no clue what's going on. They're basically just trying to get the game over and done with. I was shocked that they, threw the flag at the end of the game. It was such a blatant call that they basically had to call the penalty. Aaron Blom steps up to the plate and shanks it. He shanked it. And as I told you guys at the beginning of this, I had no confidence that he was going to step up. I mean, obviously deep down, I had like 10% like, oh, what if he makes this? Oh my gosh, can you believe it? If Iowa goes into overtime against Iowa State, how crazy would that be? But guys, look at this. Iowa State had 313 yards compared to Iowa's 141. Iowa did not even have over 100 yards passing. They did not eclipse the 100-yard mark for rushing or passing. They averaged 2.8 yards of offense per play and only had 11 first downs. 11 first downs. 11 first downs, guys. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. And they still almost win. I don't think Iowa State is better than Iowa. I don't even think necessarily that because Iowa State beat Iowa that they're going to have a better record than them. Because we've seen before Iowa can find a way. But Iowa State played better than Iowa today. They did. So what does this mean? I'm going to get to the point. What does this mean? Well, Iowa's got to find answers. Now, as I said, when Iowa beat South Dakota State, which they almost lost, okay, Iowa could easily be 0-2 right now. I think this is an emergency, okay? Iowa is in emergency mode, okay? But as I said against South Dakota State, you could chalk some of the mistakes up to being without Keegan Johnson, being without Nico Reganey, being without this guy. Okay, fine. Being without, got it. You could chalk up some shortcomings to that. Iowa State was far more healthy coming into this game than Iowa was. Sure, you could chalk it up to that. But let's be honest here, guys. Iowa has scored a combined total of 10 points in 2 effing games. This is an emergency. I'm shocked that Iowa did not decide to go with Alex Padilla. This offense is so limited because basically what you have is an immobile quarterback, Spencer Petras, who is also very average when it comes to his arm, his actual talent with his arm. Sure, he has a big arm. He can throw the ball far, which we saw in a preseason clip when he was at the Peyton Manning, the Manning camp, whatever the Manning camp. Who cares? Just preseason nonsense. Sure, he can throw it far, but basically with Spencer Petras, what you have is a quarterback who is immobile, can't run, and is virtually just as bad throwing the ball as he is immobile. So basically, I'm trying to just simplify this to its worst common denominator. You have an immobile quarterback who can barely who struggles to, because when you are an immobile quarterback, you have to be able to put the ball on the dime. You have to be like Peyton Manning, just, pointing guys out, pointing the middle linebacker out and diming people out and hitting this guy in stride and just being a surgeon out there, which of course Spencer Petras is not. So you have a guy who has zero threat running the ball, but also very little threat passing the ball. The offensive line is average at best. Where there's no explosion anywhere. There's no offensive schematic that Brian Ferentz has any intelligence to come up with that would make up for the lack of starters, for with the injuries, and for the lack of Spencer Petras, his mobility and his issues passing the ball. So at every level you look at it and you go, it's underwhelming. And that is the biggest argument that I have made. I have never said, and I've never been one to beat on the desk and say, put Alex Padilla in there, put it Alex. You guys know I have not done that. But what I have said with regards to Alex Padilla is at least he will keep the defense honest because he does have that threat of escaping the pocket, whereas Spencer Petras does not. So basically, the defense can overestimate and over defend at every turn because they know that Spencer Petras is limited. Iowa's got problems, folks. Yes, Iowa is elite defensively, but this offense is so mediocre. It is so poor. It is so bad that things are not looking good. Now, is it possible that Kirk Ferentz and because this Iowa team has so much talent that they can find a way to turn it around? Sure. And I don't want to overreact off of this one loss. I don't. But as it stands right now, losing to Iowa State and damn near losing to South Dakota State, an FCS team, it doesn't look good. It does not look good. The last thing before I go to the comments, again, you can send super chats if you want to help the channel, is this totally sucks for recruiting because Iowa, when it came to in-state recruiting, Iowa was basically just edging Iowa State out. And the reason that they were doing that is because they kept beating Iowa State year in, year out. And having good seasons. But now that they've lost to Iowa State, shoot. Now, they're kind of lucky because they basically secured all of the top 2024 guys, and they have pretty much all the guys that they want in the 2023 class. But if that was not the case, I would be very pessimistic about Iowa's ability to out-recruit Iowa State moving forward. This sucks. This is, guys, the last quarter it felt like my stomach was getting stabbed for 30 minutes straight. It was as if somebody was DICK slapping me in the face while I was, and it was terrible. It was awful. It happened slowly. It happened right in front of my face, in front of our face. It was brutal. Watching that as an Iowa fan was absolutely brutal. And it's so brutal because you can do nothing about it. All right, let me go to the comments. Oh, you guys have no idea how hard it is to do this. I said at the beginning of this, I hate how much of an Iowa fan I am. Sometimes I think it's very unhealthy how much of an Iowa fan I am. But it is what it is. Let's go. We got a super chat. Bryce Beckett, it's going to be a long year. Why is Kirk so biased? I don't know. I mean, 199 super chat. I mean, I would say, yeah, that's a good question. I don't think he's necessarily against going with Alex Padilla, but you're right. I mean, you could say he is biased in how he's doing things, because most schools, if Spencer Petras was playing the way he was playing for them, they would yank him in a second. And I play Division I water polo, guys. I know how it usually is. Most coaches do not have faith in a player for as long as they have had faith in Spencer Petras. And let's put this in perspective. This is his third year as the starting quarterback. Now, it's not all his fault. I think it's partly it's Brian Ferentz, it's him, it's injuries, it's everything. But still, nonetheless, it is his third year as a starting quarterback. You would think that the game would slow down, that he would get more confident because he's been around the game so long. He's been able to play against the speed of Division I sports. But no, that is not the case, sadly. Michael Moore, Nolan, this is going to be a long season, isn't it? It might be, guys. It might be. I don't know. because it's hard for me to say that because, again, Iowa's defense is elite. It is so good that Iowa will be able to stay in most games. And as you guys are very aware, most teams end up finding a way to beat themselves, which Iowa State almost did again today. Had Iowa's offense not been so abysmal, they would have found a way to do it. Bryce Beckett, again, thanks for the super chat. QB change. This is so bad. Michael Morin, the offense needs to do a mirror check because right now it's utter bleeping trash. Nick V, bench Petrus. Gavin Miller, so demoralizing. It is. As I said, I was basically sitting there. I couldn't even watch too much because it's like somebody is just sitting there punching you in the stomach, or I could come up with way worse scenarios, but this is YouTube, so I won't. But it's bad. It stinks. And let's be honest here, guys. Iowa has Ohio State and Michigan on the schedule. And I was confident going into the season about their ability to compete with them. But if they can only score 7-10 points each game, they're screwed. They are totally screwed. Absolutely screwed. We get a first down when we play Ohio State. I'm not holding my breath. Yeah, over and under for first downs. Yikes. John Cream, imagine being 1-1 with your defense allowing only 13 points in 2 games. That's a great point. Such a great point. That's terrible. It's crazy. It's crazy. Michael Morin, 1-1, 13 points allowed plus 1 PD. That's Iowa for you. Use Jimmy Carter. Fire Brian. Put Kirk on double secret probation and put anyone but Spencer in at quarterback. Guys, I've said Brian Ferentz, I think, is a good position coach for the O-line and for tight ends. But as far as having any actual talent and knowledge and intelligence to come up with a scheme, an imaginative scheme for the type of talent that you have at Iowa and the type of talent that you recruit, forget about it. Forget about it. Guys, Iowa has the most talent that, according to the recruiting rankings, that they have had in years, especially at the offensive position. And the fact that he can't do more with what he has now than what we've seen in the past with Greg Davis and Ken O'Keefe is terrible. It's terrible. Just terrible. My only silver lining is that Kirk Ferentz, like most coaches, won't make a quarterback change after a win now that we lost. The door is open. True. That's true. And I was going to say, guys, 2 things. Number one, how terrible is it? It's so hard to watch football games nowadays. And I know football is as popular as it has ever been, but it's so hard to watch football games, especially when there's a commercial every 2 effing seconds. I mean, it's crazy. But what I was saying about Brian Ferentz is he's a good position coach, but watching him on the sideline and watching his, I don't want to make it too personal here, but watching his clueless face it's the definition of insanity, hoping that he will change, make a change. It really is the definition of insanity. But we're Iowa fans. What else are we going to do? The season is already over. Michael Morin, I feel bad for Sam Laporta. A day 2 talent will probably be a 5th or 6th round pick because of this offense. Maybe. I mean, NFL teams are usually good at finding talent regardless of the offense and this and that, but it may happen. You might be right. I get the point. If this was any other offense, he would have so much more opportunity. At the same time, would any other team develop him as a tight end the way that Iowa does? I don't know. Blake Jamison, turnovers and missed field goals. Didn't punt on 4th and 10 with 2:30 left. No playmakers. I'm tired of this team and the coaching staff. Yeah. I mean, I'm mostly just tired with the offense. I think Phil Parker, LeVar Woods, Seth, whatever. are all good coaches, talented coaches, but Kirk Ferentz, he is having and putting a lot of blind faith into Brian. And initially, I wasn't against it per se, but now it's just looking worse and worse and worse. If things do not drastically turn around and improve, I don't know how Brian Ferentz keeps his job. I don't know how Kirk Ferentz continues to be able to keep the Wolves out, away from the gate, so to speak, whatever metaphor you want to use when it comes to Brian Ferentz. I really don't. I don't know how I read an article to you guys in the offseason about the lunacy of Brian Ferentz getting the promotion of quarterbacks coach, which hasn't made a damn difference. How do you defend a guy who has had back-to-back seasons the way Brian Ferentz has had? Especially with the talent Iowa has been able to recruit of late. Brother, please. Not making excuses, but the refs seemed confused most of the game. Lots of zebra huddles. Yeah, they did seem confused. That's ref speak, guys. Anytime refs are huddled together, they usually miss the play and they're asking for assistance because they missed the play. 2.8 yards per play. There will be running backs with double that. John Cream, the bright side, the Big Ten West is trash. Iowa makes the championship with quarterback change. Yeah, I think it's still possible. You're right. The Big Ten West is trash, and all the other teams have just as many problems. And Iowa State, as much as I hate to admit it, and as much as I hate Matt Campbell and I hate Iowa State, they're probably a 7-8 win team. They might even be a 9-win team this year, depending on the confidence they get from this game. Guys, because of where I live, honestly, I really don't give a damn about Iowa State. I understand, I have family in Iowa, and I understand how in-state people feel about the game. I honestly wish that Iowa only played Iowa State every other year. I wish it was not an every year thing. With that being said, this totally sucks that they lost to Iowa State. Matt Campbell is such, he's a good coach. He's whatever I want to say. He's a good coach. Arlo Bailey, you have a job no one wants. Yep. True that. Shea Amos, Brian. Partly the line, Charlie Jones had a touchdown today. Michigan and Ohio State are going to eat us alive. Yeah, if it keeps looking the way it looks now. If we are resting our hurt players and have a solid Big Ten performance and get to a bowl game this season, is still a win. Michael, I don't always disagree with you, but I would disagree with that one because guys, I'm telling you, this team is loaded. This Iowa team has so much talent returning, especially on defense. This is, if you just look at talent, is a 9-10 win team. Okay. This is close to one of the best teams top to bottom that KF has had ever. So no, that would not be a win for me. It just wouldn't. I understand the argument of, well, it's Iowa, and any program should hope for the type of consistency that Kirk Ferentz in Iowa has been able to have, and I understand that argument. And generally speaking, I think it's important to remember that. But not my job, but I have to look at Iowa's talent as it is and assess it from there. And this team has a lot of it. It's a fact. Hawkeyes 2017. I'm done watching this team. This is garbage. I'm with you, brother. Darth Van, I passed out that game being so bad. I may have to hit some golf balls instead of watching this team, or I'll be going bald. Yeah. Hey guys, I'll tell you this right now, with the commercials and how slow and long the game is, I just cannot devote 8 hours, and especially how anemic Iowa is offensively. I cannot devote several hours on a Saturday to the Iowa Hawkeyes. And quite frankly, as I said last week, I don't even have to in order to figure out what happened over the course of the game. I don't, because you can basically check in at the beginning of the game, miss the entire game, and check back in the fourth quarter, and you would have missed nothing. Again, if you guys want to send a super chat in, you guys can do that. I really do appreciate all your guys' support. I had a goal this time last year of having like 800 subs, and we are well over 1,000. I really am so grateful. Iowa fans, in my opinion, are the best, as much as Iowa players, former Iowa players, coaches, and the media want to bash fans every time us fans get pissed at how terrible the offense is. Iowa fans are the best, and I will always stand by Iowa fans. I will, because, and I made a Facebook post about this, and you're going to see it again. How it goes is bad offensive performance. The media criticizes, I criticize, fans criticize, deservingly so, as we should, because we pay money, we support the team. Then you have players, Jack Campbell, like last week, and I'm not hating on him, but you have players saying, oh, the fans shouldn't do that. We're just kids, even though we get paid lots of money, but we're just kids. You shouldn't do that. Then you have the media coming out with, tons of articles, finger wagging it at us and going, no, you should not do that. I'm tired of it. All we are asking for as Iowa fans is average offense. That's all we're asking for. And we have put up with an anemic offense for so long. We have been so understanding. We have been so gracious and honorable in our opinion and understanding of Brian Ferentz and the Iowa offense and Spencer Petras. We have. I do not criticize fans one bit for wanting a little bit more. So never feel bad for that. Now, on the flip side, if you're going to make a comment, you better be willing to stand behind it if somebody pushes back. Okay. But you guys all have the right to have your opinion. I'm a First Amendment absolutist. I'll say that all day long. And again, the Iowa media, I don't want to make this a big tirade here, but I'm telling you, it's going to happen again after this. It happened last week. They do love to finger wag after they criticize themselves, the poor performance that happened on Saturday. Don't let it affect you. Iowa fans are the best fans in the world. And that's what I'm trying to say here, is that you guys are the best. I have received nothing but support. Yeah, there's a few people here and there who pop in, but that's YouTube. That's how it is. And if you can't handle that, then you shouldn't be doing this. So by and large, you guys really are the best fans in the world. And I'm so grateful. So grateful. So, all right, guys, we are going to wrap it up here. Time of possession, 38-15 to 21. Penalties, 4-5. I'm going to go back here, see if we have any super chats. We got a super chat from Michael Vay 0203. Let's go. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Still love my Hawks. Beat Nebraska. Thanks, brother. You've been here since day one. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for the super chat. My closing thoughts, guys, are this. It looks bad. It really does. But at the end of the day, as Michael said, I love my Iowa Hawkeyes, and I'm still going to tune in. But it does look bad. I think the gates are totally open. I think Kirk Ferentz will be willing to assess this offense because at the end of the, honestly and completely, because at the end of say what you will about Kirk Ferentz, but at the end of the day, he is a competitor. He wants to win, and he is at the end of his career. He is not going to allow something as small but yet so big as a quarterback change stop him from doing what he needs to do. So I believe Iowa will assess this offense openly and honestly this coming week. Iowa has Nebraska, Nevada, UNR. So hopefully they can use that game to get things on track. I still think Iowa has as good a shot as anybody in the Big Ten West to win that. And let's be honest, guys, if Iowa wins the Big Ten West and loses to Iowa State, we would all take that, Now, I would rather have both, and I think Iowa could easily have both. Iowa is going to get healthier eventually. And at the end of the day, this defense is elite. Now, one thing to keep an eye out is the kicker. Okay. Aaron Blum is now 1 for 3. That's not going to cut it. And he has shown an inability to hit field goals in tight spots. And Iowa needs a field goal kicker who has big balls. Okay. They need a field goal kicker who has massive balls to go up there and hit a dagger. How many daggers, how many game winners, tires did Keith Duncan, Caleb Shudak, Marshall Kane, how many did they hit? Iowa, because of their offense, they need a consistent field goal kicker. And if they don't have that, they're in trouble, big trouble. So they need to figure that out. That's something to keep an eye on here moving forward, guys. Absolutely. I don't think it's the end of the season, but things are not looking great right now. It absolutely sucks that they lost to Iowa State. It really, really does. What else can I say besides that? But we have seen Iowa be able to turn it around before, so we'll see. All right, guys, I am going to wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out here. Just want to see if we had any more super chats here. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Check out the Iowa versus UNR pregame that I will do. I did just learn how to edit videos, so my videos will be cleaner and crisper than they were before and quicker. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. Again, thank you guys so much. I know it sucks. Hang in there. It's a long season, and you guys know that. DBAP, don't be a pussy, Willow. In facts or feelings, because your feelings don't matter. Love you guys. See you guys next time. Go Hawks.